We're back, people, and today we're going to film on DeShon Elliott, Miami Dolphins safety, and he continues to be just a fantastic addition. One of the unsung heroes of the team, playing outstanding on the back end. He plays one of the position safeties where when you're watching the game live, you don't get to appreciate what they're doing every single play. You get to see some of big splash plays, but he's just out here playing super consistent, always in the right position, very intelligent football player. And in this game, he got to play more of like the Javon Holland role. Like first time Holland was out, and he played more of what Holland usually does on the back end, and he played fantastic again. The one game he missed this season, the Dolphins probably had their worst defensive performance. He's very important back there when it comes to like route distribution, communication, just being in the right spot. He's been very key to this defense, and him and Holland have been one of the better safety duos in the league, in my opinion. Holland's like the star, and Elliott's just the super consistent guy who continues to make the right play. Here, I love the disguise of the coverages in this game, showing more of a look like, hey, this could be like cover 6 or cover 8 type of look. They rotate down into a cover 3. They bring Chubb, who's lined up more like out in like the flat, as like a blitzer per se. And then he has to replace this right here and match number 2. They bring 5, so he has to match number 2 seam flat while disguising pre-snap up here. Does a great job staying patient, reading this the whole way. And you know, people will argue whether this is a penalty or not. That's, you know, all fair and well if you want to do that. But to me, this is still just a great play. How he stays square, he stays patient. He's reading the hips of the receiver, sees him break, and then boom, closes, transitions downhill. And this is textbook tackling. Maybe the top of his helmet barely touches like the, you know, bottom of Parker's face mask. But he does a great job squaring him up, bringing his legs through, wrapping, dropping a shoulder into the guy. To me, like, Parker brings his head towards him. So, like, I don't know. This is pretty textbook tackling to me, and he gets the pass deflection to incomplete. These are great plays DeShon Elliott's making on the back end, and that's his like tone setting of a play as it gets. Typically, Elliott doesn't get to be involved in run support throughout these games because usually, you know, he's playing this role where when they do rotate into cover 3, they play a lot of split field looks, and that's usually where they're at. But they also, you know, rotate into cover 3, cover 9 looks. And usually Elliott is this guy, Brandon Jones, going deep middle of the field, and Holland's the one coming down. But since he's playing that Holland role, he gets to come down, be involved in run support, and meeting Ramondre Stevenson, who's a big back out in space. And they were kind of like having a trouble tackling these guys in this game at times. But Elliott just gets to come down, drop his shoulder weight into him, and make this open field tackle. You can see the physicality, the play strength. He pops Stevenson off his way and then brings him down as well. That's impressive right there. That is a very nice play because this was one of the biggest lanes they had all day, and they gained like 5 or 6 yards, but it could have been much bigger. Great job right there from DeShon Elliott. Liking what I'm seeing in run support. Don't think that's like the biggest strength of his or something he's going to be involved with a ton this season, because usually he's just, you know, your last line of defense type player. But it's nice to see that if he's needed to do this, he can, and he does it very effectively. I think he filled into that Javon Holland role very nicely, and I can't wait to see them both playing back there with Ramsey. Here you get to see him tricks in this situation, Elliott. Usually this is Holland who's playing as a like trick safety, which means you're usually, you know, you're on the quarter side, but you're on the back side of a 3-by-1 in this situation. They're playing, you know, cover 2 to the top here. Brandon Jones is a deep half safety, and usually instead of playing like a traditional quarters technique, you trick, which basically kind of turns you into almost to a robber, and you're reading number 3 here to take away this throw over the middle. It's a, you know, very good coverage technique. It's something Fangio runs a lot, and he's just reading the QB's eyes here, scanning to find number 3, takes away this the whole way, and just being in the correct spot. Like, there's nothing super fancy, crazy about this play, but Mac Jones has no options to throw it deep, so he just throws the underneath drag on a 3rd and long situation, and everyone's there to rally, make those tackles. Elliott just being in the correct spot, not trying to do too much, anything too crazy. You can make the big splashy plays, but a lot of times when it comes to safety play, you just need to be in the correct spot, and he looks very comfortable back there, whether he's backpedaling, opening up his hips. You can see just like pretty smooth athleticism as well, just when he's doing these types of things. Big fan of what DeShon Elliott is bringing to this defense. Taking over that Holland role, it means that you're going to be down more, matching up number 2s when you're rotating single high, playing your cover 3, cover 9 coverages, matching up versus receiver, tight ends. You got to be able to do it, and he looked very comfortable just in these coverages, just staying square, patient. He's got good body lean and balance here, and he's just reading the hips of the tight end, the route. Gets physical at the top of it, but not getting over physical to, you know, get like illegal contact, things like that. And he's just sitting on that, matching it perfectly, waiting for it the whole time. This is just good processing, being in the right spot first play of the game. Also, Gator Kohu gets out there, gets involved. But I do like the ability, the versatility that Elliott showed, because he's been more of a back-end safety. But now, like, a couple reps here of seeing him come down in the slot, matching a tight end and a receiver, and doing pretty good job in both reps. Not being like, a lot of times, when a guy's eating up on your cushion like this, they'll open up his hips, because we saw it more from depth earlier and then him coming down. This time, sitting on it, playing, squatting on these routes, being a little more patient, not having as much depth, not even opening his hips at all. Didn't open his hips on either, but just making a good play to take away these players on their routes. Dolphins playing quarters to the bottom of the screen here, and they're just matching number 2. He's matching number 2 vertically. 2 works up vertically enough. And sometimes you can pass this off in like traditional quarters, but usually they're playing like in a match set. So it's like Ramsey will take number 1. If he works up vertically enough like this, he's just going to match this. And then since number 2 works up vertically enough, Elliott's going to take this. It gets completed over the middle, but Elliott does a good job staying on top. You can see he has really good anticipation skills. Like, he's always reading this. He's communicating with Ramsey like, hey, you got this guy. I'm matching here. He's gone up vertically enough. This is my guy. He does a good job weaving with his feet to maintain his leverage, and then also getting enough depth to, not give up too much of his cushion. And now he's just reading the hips, feeling this route break, staying on top of it, stays in perfect positioning, not allowing any separation. It's not thrown to his guy, but Elliott, just another example of him being in the right spot, the right time. Love the communication, love his footwork right here, like sort of inching back to gain that depth. But it keeps him like very active with his feet, and he's ready to transition, get out of that break, and match the tight end very nicely. He's very comfortable covering these tight ends, whether it's like actually matching him down in the slot, getting up a little bit closer, playing like in a softer coverage, or just really just playing deep. You're actually deep quarter, split field look. Elliott's very comfortable playing as a split field safety. It's something he's done all season long, and he's done very effectively. I think he's, given up very few catches in that area. So I'm a big fan of what DeShon Elliott's bringing, and he's clearly a leader back there, communicator, and him and Holland just playing like one of the best duos there is. Another example of where Elliott has to match down in the slot, this time versus Demario Douglas, who's a very explosive player. And it's not easy to match someone like this with all this space to work with. You really want to keep that, middle of the field, because there's all this space to work with. So you want to keep that inside leverage. Sees him break to the outside, so he just stays over the top. And when you're matching like this, you're just playing top down. You want to keep everything in front of you. You're okay with giving up this quick little pop pass. He's in the correct spot to make a play. Starts to break down. Ball's thrown a little bit late and behind. He's just there to make a tackle. It ends up being an ineligible man downfield, but clearly just that versatility is a big part of his game with all the different ways that he can be used. But coming down and doing this stuff, which he hasn't done a ton of this season because he's usually on the back end, playing on that Holland role and doing this effectively, I think has been very nice. Like, none of these plays are super crazy, but just continuously doing his job. Another example of Elliott versus the run, this time in a split field safety look, and he's coming down from deep. You got to be able to play and run support from different alignments like this, and just dropping his shoulder, punishing a player. Like to see this. When it's like cover 3 and you're rotating down into the box, you're going to be more involved in the run fits. But when you're like a deep field safety, you don't technically, have like a specific gap you're responsible for. You're just coming down. You want to maintain good leverage with the running back. You see how he's like outside leverage here. And once he sees him commit upfield or downfield, he's going to, get there at the point of attack, drop his shoulder into him while he's getting wrapped up. Love the physicality that he's bringing back there. Set these tones. He was hitting people in this game, and I really like to see it. We saw him make a one-on-one play out in space to wrap someone up, which is big, but also finishing these plays while the other player's really being wrapped up, and also doing it from a split field alignment is pretty nice. Last play that we're going to break down here for DeShon Elliott. He's playing to the quarter side again on the backside of a 3x1, and they're tricksing. He's finding the new number 3 on the backside. This is like the last play of the game too, the one where Brandon Jones unfortunately gets injured, but he knows what to do in these situations to gain depth. Like, you're not, you're basically turning into like a robber type of player. They're matched up number 1 to number 1 on the backside, and then you're looking to find the new number 3, because number 3 technically is, Gesicki, but he goes out on the flat, so this number 2 becomes the new number 3, working over the middle. They pass that off. This big hook defender takes the dig. They're both over the top to maintain this leverage, so if this guy breaks to the outside, he has it. If he breaks to the inside, Elliott's in a good spot. This is just great route distribution on the back end, and then it's all late developing. They're getting pressure, then Jones just has to throw it up. I really like how Elliott plays these things on the back end. No matter the situation, he just always seems to be in the right spot, knows exactly where to be, and this throw is just taken away perfectly. Just understanding his jobs, his responsibility, the communication. Very, very intelligent player, understanding of route distributions, maintaining good leverage here too. He doesn't like just need to fire over there. Like he knows, like just be patient, wait for this thing to come. Sees the angle of this thing, knows that he can gain some depth here, but he doesn't need to be like over aggressive to it because that route is coming towards him, and he sort of like jogs into it and just maintains that perfect play. And then just a jump ball at the end. So DeShon Elliott playing really, really well. Big fan of his game. Big fan of that pickup in addition. And can't wait to see how it all works back there with the whole secondary when everyone's healthy. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the guys. Peace.